Hey guys, today we're going to be briefly looking at digital inputs. In the last video we covered analog outputs, and the video before that we did digital outputs. So the 4 videos I'm doing on inputs and outputs, it's just really they're really basic, and this isn't a very good way of doing it. Going forwards we're going to cover a much better way of dealing with inputs and outputs in real time, and I didn't mean to save that, so excuse me. So what we're going to do is we're going to get some digital input. So we're going to define a pin as DigitalIn. We're going to call that up. We're going to use the onboard button. Every board should come with a button. So we're going to call that onboard button. I actually prefer writing my variables like this. I used to always camel case them, but you know, I prefer this now for reasons. What do we need? We need our pin for our digital button. And I actually don't know what the pin is, but I do know from experience that the buttons are active low. So that's worth noting. So PB2. So we're done with you. We want our button as PB2. And I said, well, we're going to say if, what we're going to call it, onboard button. So this, from what I just said, remember the button is active low. Also, this is a microcontroller, so we're going to want this to be running all the time. So we're going to do while one. So let's just get rid of this. Excuse me. Alright, so we're going to do while one. Also, it's probably, yeah, so we're going to do while one dout, which is going to be our digital pin that we've been using. So we switched briefly in the last video, so we could use an analog pin over here. But I've just switched back to our D8 pin, if you've got the same board as I. And so I do. And then we've just got our ground pin over here. So that should all be connected, and we're going to say dout does not equal dout. Wait, that doesn't make sense. We're going to say dout equals not dout. There's a difference. So this is going to keep switching. Let's go through it in a second. And it's kind of just good practice, isn't it, to actually define that as 0 to begin with, otherwise it's just a bit random. And after and we're going to switch that on and off. And this is a piece of code that's actually not every 2 seconds. It's on the Mbed website somewhere. I'll probably leave a link in the description if you want the text, or I'll put it in the comments in the description itself. So where did we get to? So we're saying we're going to start our while. We're going to initially dout's going to be 0, so our LED is going to be off. Then we're going to go into this while loop, in which we're going to stay forever. And then we're going to say if onboard button. Well, we've lost this now in the wrong place. Control X. We're going to, oh dear, did I not? Ignore that then. It's not too important. Well, I'm going to write it anyway because it needs to be a active low button. So this is going to go automatically into this if statement because the button's on, remember, and when we press it then it's off. So it's going to go into here. Dout is going to switch to on because it was off to begin with. Then it's going to be on for 0.2 seconds. Then we're going to come back to this loop, and it's going to be off, and then it's just going to keep switching on and off. And when the button's pressed, it will stay whatever it was previously, because it won't go into this if statement. So if it was on, it will stay on. If it was off, it will stay off. So if we just test this, compile it, we'll see what we get. Download, drag it into your board, and now the LED should start flashing on and off. Yeah, so that's worked. And we said let's keep an eye on this when we push the button. So it was off. Let's try and get both. So there you go. Now I'm able to push it and it's on, or push it and it's off, push it on. So whatever the previous state was. So this is obviously not very good, because right now, you know, there's a lot of things wrong with this, because when we do this, the code's clearly, oh yeah, it's not good. There's a lot of blocking going on, and it's, you know, we can miss the timing, and it's just not good code. However, we're gonna cover that in a future video, hopefully pretty soon actually. So in the next video we'll probably be covering just analog inputs, although I'm not sure. I don't actually have an analog input, so I have to think of something. So I might leave that tutorial actually, because it's going to be pretty much the same as this. It's just you're going to set a threshold rather than one digital pin. Anyway, that doesn't matter, I'll figure that out. Hope that video was useful, and yes, stay tuned for more useful and more interesting videos. Thank you for watching.